very good morning to all the viewers and greetings from Consulate General of India, Birmingham. I, Lekha Datta, warmly welcome everyone on this holistic celebration of Ayurveda at 2047 Azadi Ka Amrit Kal 7th Ayurveda Day, organized to raise awareness on traditional medicinal system. India is considered the motherland of both yoga and Ayurveda, the millennia-old art of healing. Let us appreciate the essence of Vedic wisdom in the noise of modern life by celebrating Ayurveda Day with this year's theme, Har Din Har Ghar Ayurveda. Ayurveda every day, Ayurveda everywhere. To begin with, I would request our Consul General, Dr. Shashank Vikram, for his welcome remarks.
Namaskar, good morning. I would like to welcome all our viewers today as we celebrate the 7th Ayurveda Day. Ayurveda, as you know, is the traditional medicine from India. It is a branch of medicine, or I would say a way of treatment which is very close to nature. This year, as we are celebrating our Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav and also entering the next 25 years, which will be the Azadi Ka Amrit Kal, we are also preparing to propagate and promote Ayurveda in the mainstream. It is being commemorated as Ayurveda at 2047, Azadi Ka Amrit Kal. The Ayurveda celebrations also aim to propagate Ayurveda in each and every household. That is why the motto is Har Din Har Ghar Ayurveda. It is, in any case, there are so many remedies of Ayurveda which we use in our daily life. And as we go forward, it has been proven that Ayurveda has remedies for so many serious as well as chronic conditions today. It is important that we all give importance to this ancient knowledge and benefit from it, especially in today's world when we are so much occupied by the problems of the modern life. There is a need to increase the utility of Ayurveda as much as possible as per today's requirement. The motto is to make a move from illness to wellness and wellness to happiness. Ayurveda therefore proposes the paradigm shift from Ayu to Dirghayu, Dirghayu to Sukhayu, and Sukhayu to Hitayu. I now look forward to the rest of the program, including hearing from our Ayurveda expert of today, Dr. Ashok. Namaskar, Jai.
Thank you, sir. This year, the Ayurveda Day celebrations are being held under the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav initiative. Ayurveda, the original healthcare tradition of humanity, is not just a medicinal system, but a manifestation of our symbiotic relationship with nature. A 6-week-long program from 12th of September to 23rd of October was launched by the Ministry of Ayush to interact with and sensitize people so that the message of Ayurveda can percolate down to all the levels. Now, Dr. Ashok Kumar, Ayurveda specialist and owner of Dr. Ashok Ayurveda Clinic, and his team will share his insights about Ayurveda and more. Over to you, Dr. Ashok.
Namaste. My name is Archana Jain, and I'm a believer of Ayurveda. Today, the 23rd of October 22, we are celebrating the 7th International Ayurveda Day. I would like to thank the Government of India and the Consulate General of India in Birmingham, Dr. Shashank Vikram and his team, to facilitate the promotion of Ayurveda at an international level. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce and welcome Dr. Ashok and Dr. Poonam, who have been successfully practicing Ayurveda in the West Midlands for the past 20 years. They are a household name in Birmingham. Dr. Poonam, Dr. Ashok, welcome. So, we have a few questions for you. And so, for a bigger and a better understanding of Ayurveda for the public, Dr. Ashok, how do you see that we can promote Ayurveda in the mainstream and globally as well?
First of all, Archanaji, thank you very much joining this, this day, very, very, I can say, auspicious day for us. Celebrating 7th International, Ayurveda Day is really a great honor for Ayurveda practitioners, specifically in the West. And I really specifically, again, want to say thank you to the Indian government and General Consulate of India, Birmingham, Dr. Shashank and his team, taking the great initiative promoting this traditional system of medicine in the West. And practically, Ayurveda is the need of the time today, as all we know that, our healthcare system is in the crisis. Now, when the question comes that how we can promote Ayurveda basically globally, the important thing is that has to start from, and I believe it's already started, from the government level. The government has to take the initiatives so that it can communicate on the government level to facilitate that system of the medicines. And that is the one, I think, the first step, which government already actually, taken that step. And I again want to say thank you to the Indian government to taking that initiative. Then second point of view is that obviously in the West, everything is based on clinical evidence. We don't look into the things what people say. We look into the things that what is the evidence about something we are using. So I believe all the fraternities and intellectual people in Ayurveda and government of India, we all has to come together to actually compile the Ayurveda according to the Western need. We has to provide them the clinical evidence. Without providing them the clinical evidence, we cannot really enter into that society.
Thank you. So, Dr. Puno, we know that our health system is under stress.
Yes.
And how do you see Ayurveda to contribute towards national health policy and national health programs?
You're right, Archanaji, because I think it is important to realize that how the masses sometimes feel unsafe and uncared for when the health system is in crisis today. But what we need to realize is that, yes, even the World Health Organization today recognizes the importance of Ayurveda, like we have an International Yoga Day. So similarly, I think it is important that in the UK, we open up our health policies and try and merge the traditional system of medicine into the mainstream so that the masses can make the use of the best of the both sciences, the conventional system and the Ayurveda system of medicine. It's important, I think, that at a higher level where the government of India and the government of UK, where the healthcare system starts to look at where we can actually start the merger. We can actually start to, like Dr. Ashok mentioned, we can start to provide the evidence. We can look at how the evidence is there because it is a science which has actually been there for centuries, So it has got its healing properties. There are so many people, at least I would say 20 to 30% of the people across the world are using Ayurveda in the West in certain forms. And they are finding it beneficial. And because the health system is in crisis, when the policymakers are looking at different traditional medicines systems, it is important to open up the view, open up the mindset about the merger, open up to at some place welcome the Ayurveda system of medicine into the mainstream, because there is a need now. We really are in a crisis, and the people demand all that attention, all that healthcare to be there to improvise and improve their health really. So I think because they are now looking at trying to find answers to their long-term issues, trying to find answers to the problems like obesity, diabetes, long-term heart conditions, PCOS, menopause, there has to be something more available from what we already have had for the last many decades. And we clearly see that this is not just the answer to everything that is there at the moment. So somewhere at the start of the policy making, I think there is a need for expert involvement from the sector of Ayurveda into the panel where they can actually provide for all this system of medicine. And there has to be a discussion where this really needs to be taken forward so that people can get the benefit of the both system of medicine and allow the health to flourish, allow the system to widen up and provide for the care that we really intend to for the global healthcare system.
Yeah, it did very well. And it is exciting times for Ayurveda, and especially for the government of India to back Ayurveda up in such a huge scale. It is really looking that the potential of Ayurveda, it can go a mile and mile and a half. So how can it help to reduce the burden of disease and related morbidity and mortality which you experience as practitioners on an everyday basis? So Dr. Ashok.
So basically, Archana ji, if we see in today time, the biggest challenge is not the emergency. Western medicine is excellent in managing the emergency situation, and really we always appreciate the growth and development and research into that sector. But we have to understand the challenge in front of us. About 90% people are suffering from chronic disease.
Yes.
Maximum funds of NHS is going into the chronic disease healthcare management.
Okay.
And I think this is the time where we have to evaluate really does we are getting what we are spending on that sectors. Still, cardiovascular health is a challenge, diabetes is a challenge, lifestyle disorder is a challenge, autoimmune disease are a challenge. And practically, this is the truth that we're not really finding the proper solution of these problems anyway. So that means somehow we are not addressing, and what it is, it's very important to understand that what we are not addressing, nobody is paying attention to it. It's like, we are talking about well-beings today, but how we can provide the well-being, not just giving certain pills to people, we have to work into the core principle of the health and well-being. So important thing is that in that we have to make health as a culture. It's just a passion within the people's lives. That's how we can address the lifestyle disease. Otherwise, there's no point we can address the lifestyle autoimmune diseases. There's no solutions for them practically. We are just doing the managements.
I would like to ask you a little bit more. A phrase you used just now was to have health as a culture. Would you like to say a little bit more about that?
Yes, practically in my 20 years of my life practicing, Ayurvedic system of medicine in the West specifically, what I notice is that I believe that we don't pay that much respect to the health what health deserves. We're thinking that doesn't matter what we do in our lives, eat whatever you like to eat, do whatever you like to do, and there's a mindset in people's lives, let's go to the GP practice, problem will be solved.
Yeah.
And that's where actually the thought process which was put into the public mind, now we are really getting back of that thought process that
The
we cannot
repercussions
address it.
are coming through.
Yes. So if we would have been at first stage given the responsibility of their health responsibility to them, what we did is practically, I believe, as a practitioner, when we see the environment, we say to them, we will protect your health. We cannot protect anybody else's health. And that is where Ayurveda is a very unique science. Ayurveda says, make health your culture.
Yeah.
Health has to be your passion, and health has to be your life and part of your life.
Taking responsibility of your own mind and body.
Yes.
I suppose it starts from there.
It's very important, and we do not put into our populations, and that's how we are suffering today.
And that is, as I said, it is exciting times for Ayurveda. And Ayurveda is a more accepted idea than it was 20 years ago. So what do you think are the strengths of Ayurveda, Dr. Poonam, and its unique treatment principles, would you say?
Yeah. See, the main strength of Ayurveda lies in the word Ayurveda itself, because Ayur means life and Veda is the knowledge. So knowing about yourself, knowing about every stage of your life, is the most important quest, I think, here. Because when you look at your health, I think it's more about first being aware of your own self, and then it's about knowing how we are differently looking at ourselves and knowing the people in front of us, because we are all a body constitution. We are all, like we say, a genetic makeup. We are all a Ayurvedic body constitution, and that's how we differ from each other. Once we recognize what body constitution we are, and that's the way we deal with ourselves and know how we are able to respect the person in front of us as being a different Ayurveda personality. And once we know that, I think half of the issue is solved, because you are able to look after yourself, and all that you deserve is balance of those of your health.
Ayurveda is a more accepted idea than it was 20 years ago. What do you think are the strengths of Ayurveda and its unique treatment principles?
Now, in terms of Ayurveda, like we mentioned about what Ayurveda is, the main principle of Ayurveda is Swasthasya Swastharakshanam Aturasya Vikar Prashmanam, which means taking care of the health of the person who is already healthy, which means trying to prevent any illnesses. And also anybody who does happen to have any conditions, any illnesses, to make sure that we are looking after it and preventing it from progressing, and also treating it. So that is the main principle of Ayurveda.
There may be still doubts in public mind about Ayurveda, and there's some unclarity of what Ayurveda actually is. So what do you think can be like a way to enhance the confidence, in the public? How can we build that confidence in the public about Ayurveda and give them that clarity?
Basically, this is again the biggest problems in the West today, that how we take Ayurveda forward anyway. And I can understand that, because we face this situation, almost every day in our clinics. People have a lot of doubts and a lot of myths about Ayurveda. And the reason of doubts and myths is that actually there has not been a platform being created, till now, I believe, that which have the very authentic knowledge about Ayurvedic system of medicines. Usually there is just so much different kind of a, what I can say, different format of knowledges, which is really not true knowledge, which is not a, I just say, take simple example. Everybody thinks that when they comes to visit our clinic, that every disease can be cured by Ayurvedic system of medicine. So that is where their expectations of, like, from a system of medicine doesn't match each other's. And to eliminate that all doubts and myths, yes, we have to create a very authentic platform where they can have a authentic knowledge to understand this system of medicine, how it can help you. Because that is another problem what I noticed, not only in the public, but other healthcare practitioners as well. First of all, they think that Ayurveda is not a evidence-based medicine, but I always say it is a science exists from, since this nature is existing, it is the science which is created by nature. And I don't think so there is any science have the more evidence than Ayurvedic system of medicine on this planet, because nature is the evidence of the system of medicine. But they have so much doubt and questions about the system of medicine. And other thing is that creating awareness, understanding and education. See, we need to educate, we need to create educational platforms to educate, other professional, other system of medicine professionals, publics, and, and create a community programs to let them know what exactly the science is and how it can help you.
I really like your idea of educating. I think from once education, awareness does come, and getting health professionals to be part of this education system about Ayurveda could be a very good start to this initiative.
That's the need of time today. If you see that there is a barrier, barrier being created between Ayurveda, public, and the professionalism, this clinical evidence barrier is, such a barrier which is really not letting the people confidence to come into Ayurvedic system of medicine. And I always says, and again things today, we cannot put the life in laboratories. Life is much more beyond laboratory. And what we're trying to do is, we're trying to put this Ayurveda into the laboratory and produce the evidence and use it. And that's where I think we are going wrong. We have to accept it as it is. We don't need to do makeup to Ayurveda. We just need to accept it.
I think it's bringing the more holistic approach of Ayurveda into light.
Yeah.
And it also brings to emphasize that there has to be some intervention in national health policy and national health programs for it to come to the public, for the awareness to increase, for the education to happen, and those myths to dissolve. So there's also, Dr. Poonam, that today's generation is more open to holistic treatments now.
Yes.
And how can we create a sense of awareness, a deeper sense of awareness in today's generation, and then promote the Ayurvedic principles of healing in society?
Ultimately, I feel that today's generation is actually much more open-minded about things. They have access to all forms of information via social media, via internet searches, and they like to explore when there is something. They would like to have answers to their questions. I think that quest of knowledge and knowing is actually helping the current generation and the future generation to accept more systems of Ayurveda and accept all the holistic nature of Ayurveda. And when it comes to it, I think it's more important that we help to enhance and create more initiatives for them to have the knowledge firsthand rather than just via social media. It's important to create some level of, like Dr. Ashok said, some level of education at different levels, even in schools, even in communities, even in workplaces, because these are the places where, especially all the workplaces should have that initiative of providing educational channels, providing awareness channels, to help their employees, to help the employees, to help the masses to be able to access all these systems. And like we have different insurance companies, they should actually also have the initiative of covering Ayurveda as a traditional system of medicine, providing the access and opening the doors to the system of Ayurveda so people can get the benefit of both the systems of medicine.
True. I think we have a few ideas there that how it can be introduced to the younger generation and let it come into the mainstream and let society benefit in whole from the Ayurvedic principles. So there is a myth, and you touched on it before as well, Dr. Ashok, that Ayurveda is not evidence-based. It is not an evidence-based scientific system. So how can you help to eradicate this myth and create the true awareness of Ayurveda as an evidence-based medical system?
We had a brief touch on these questions, Archanaji, before as well. Yes, this is the biggest, I can say, a challenge in front of us. We take it a challenge. Evidence-based Ayurveda, and I think, as I said before as well, it's a myth. Ayurveda is one of the best science, I can say, to practice. Yes, every traditional system of medicine is practically, I can say, evidence-based today, because that was evidence is directly between people and a physician. It's you can say clinical-based evidence. Because see, if when we go back 200 years ago, we don't have this old mechanisms, we don't have that old facilities to produce the clinical-based evidence which we are looking into it today. And as I said, the problem is that now you cannot do laboratory trial on Ayurveda and can specify the Ayurveda benefits and uses. You cannot be, because Ayurveda is a nature, it's a holistic science which is based on evidence of using the Ayurveda and practicing Ayurveda from thousands of years.
So in an Ayurvedic light, how does this evidence-based medical system looks like? How different is it to the tradition, to the allopathic evidence-based medical system? So what are the differences do you see? And how can you bridge that gap? Or can it be similar? Or is it totally different? Or is it a different system of evidence-based medical system which it could be elucidated?
See, basically, Archanaji, yes, it's I can say one of the very important questions here to discuss. That the Western fraternities, the researchers and professors, they actually problems that they're looking Ayurveda in a different shape and form, And where this is the first point where everything started going wrong. In Western medicine, we talk about single molecule and make that molecule more specifically and do the modification, whatever we have to do into it, to do it, do the clinical research on it, laboratories and trial on the body anyway. Ayurveda is different. You cannot actually separate the Ayurveda, then the concept of idea of Ayurveda just gets abolished completely. In Ayurveda, we believe in integrations. And when it comes to integrations, that give a classic, simple example that if there is a Ayurvedic medicine, take example, very common use, ashwagandha system, simple medications. There's a 25 plants in that, hundreds of alkaloids in every plant. They have a synergy, they comes together and works together that make ashwagandha system. So you can do trial of a ashwagandha system, but you cannot specify trial of 20, 30 ingredients separately and integrate them.
So it's a more complicated science. Sounds like a
No,
more
it's a
complex.
it's a
rather.
very simple science, if I want to say that. But actually, we want to make it complicated. That is what it is. We want you to look into the same thing. Like suppose if we have 2, 3 children in the family, and we like to see all the 3 children like one children. We want to see. We have certain ideas of looking on our children. That he should be just like that.
Perspective itself is very different. So,
Yes.
so it's like the same rules of evidence-based medical system cannot
implemented.
apply almost to the
you
Ayurvedic
cannot.
evidence-based.
You
So,
cannot.
like Dr. Ashok was saying, each and every molecule that we are looking from the Western point of view in a herb, but each herb, like Dr. Ashok said, works in synergy with each other to produce the effect that we are looking at. But there are so many different elements of a herb. It's the rasa, what should we mention all these?
No. See, basically, like I just said, the way forward is practically, yes, we definitely start looking into more specifically the West clinical-based evidence. Then we have to take it to next level after doing the clinical-based evidence, specifically for Western society. If you ask me practically, there's no need for to do that. Oh, really, we need to start using Ayurveda first, experience it, because there's nothing better, evidence than your own experience.
Mm-hmm.
When we start practicing here, we started from home, and we are close 17,000 people. So what evidence we need more than that?
Right.
Thousands of people use here energy. We treated, manage their life better, and they are enjoying their well-being. Fantastically. This is all about Ayurveda. I always used to say, people look into it, know about it, experience it.
Mm-hmm.
When you experience it, you know what it is. Otherwise, there's no possibilities. And I think somehow here in the Western system or Western, healthcare system, we have to accept the Ayurveda as it is, experience it, and then we really come to understanding that it is a great science and it can really,
So for the public to experience Ayurveda, there needs to be a big and a wide range of education
Yes.
happening for it to bring it to the whole of society in UK at least. So yeah, and I'm sure there are plans for that, and look forward to this space and how Ayurveda grows into a society and into the well-being of our public. And I thank you, Dr. Ashok, Dr. Pranav, for having this conversation and enlightening us.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much again,
Thank you very
Archana ji,
much.
coming here and joining us today on this auspicious International, Ayurveda Day. When we came in this country, we never thought that it's ever going to be International Ayurveda Day, and we can see that. And specifically, really, I again want to say thank you to the Indian government to be pro Ayurveda. I want to say with proud,
Absolutely.
pro Ayurveda.
Yes.
They are bringing their traditionals into the healthcare system, and that is what they do in the best. We cannot stand without traditions. We have to be with traditional, because traditional science support the Western science.
It's a history of our
Yes,
ages.
yes, and it's about supporting each other. When we integrate two science together, it will create a perfect healthcare system, which is the need of the today.
I look forward to
Yes.
that happening.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very
And
much.
again, we want to say thank you to everyone joining, the events and, on International Ayurveda Day. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Thanks, Dr. Ashok. Indeed, a lot of information. Take the benefits of Ayurveda in your everyday life and enjoy a healthier lifestyle. Come be part of Har Din Har Ghar Ayurveda and embrace a healthier lifestyle for both mental and physical wellness. Check the Ministry of Ayush website www.ayush.gov.in for more details. Stay healthy, eat healthy. To conclude, I would now request our Head of Chancery, Mr. Hitesh Saxena, to deliver his closing remarks. Thank you. Happy Deepavali.
Thank you, Ms. Chandralekha. Namaste. We have now reached the end of our virtual celebration of Ayurveda at 2047, Azadi Ka Amrit Kal, that is 7th Ayurveda Day. On behalf of the Consulate General of India, Birmingham, I would like to thank Dr. Ashok's Ayurveda Clinic for their contribution towards organization of this virtual celebration and our Consul General Dr. Shashank Vikram for leading us. I would also like to thank all my colleagues who have worked towards creation of this virtual celebration program. We hope you like our program. As always, we would like to hear from you. Please give us your feedback on events.birmingham@mea.gov.in. Thank you very much. Namaste and Jai Hind.